Nothing demonstrates with more creativity the precision, dexterity, and overall capability of the human hand than a piano performance. However, there are some basic functions performed by our hands that are far more critical to our everyday lives than playing an instrument. Think about the many things in your daily life that you enjoy doing or must do that involve your hands.
So I guess hand and finger safety has taken on a whole new meaning for me probably in the last few months. I'm a new father, a 6-month-old boy, Sebastian. He's really the apple of my eye and one of the joys of my life, and one of the things I look forward to the most each and every day after work is being able to go home with him, touch him, play with him, and enjoy my time with him.
My hands are important to me because recently I just had grandchildren, two twins, boys, and also I have a passion for playing pool. And without my hands, I can't play pool.
Hands important to me? Well, I am a trade person. In work, I am working as a mechanic, so without hand, I cannot perform even a single job. In my personal family life, I am a sport person. I play tennis, I play cricket. In both sports, without hand, I can't do anything.
My hands are important to me because my biggest joy in life is going home and picking up my daughter.
The human hand is made up of 27 bones, joints, ligaments, tendons, muscles, nerves, and blood vessels. It is one of the most complex and unique limbs in nature. Hands can pinch, grip, carry, push, manipulate, and hold. Why is it that something so sophisticated and so important to our everyday quality of life is treated with such neglect and carelessness? Almost half of reported injuries on the job at Nestle Waters involve hands and fingers. They include minor cuts to fingers from corrugate to more serious cases such as crushed fingers when caught between film rolls, skin removed from the top of a finger that was shredded on by a packer blade, hands that were burned by 350-degree glue at a labeler, fingers fractured by using the wrong tools, or outright finger amputations caused by triggering the blow mold pin or from placing them into moving machinery. The hand and its fingers are very complex and delicate instruments, so injuries like these often result in permanent damage, including loss of proper function.
Do you ever question yourself why you take certain risks, and was it worth it?
One of the hazards that we may encounter in the lab and on the production floor is broken glass. This can be dangerous to our hands because it can cause cuts. One of the ways we can help avoid getting cuts from dealing with broken glass is by using the glass breakage kit. Inside the kit, we have Kevlar gloves, a dustpan, and a small broom. We use the broom and the dustpan to avoid touching the glass with our hands at all. But if we should make a slip-up and touch the broken glass directly with our hands, we are wearing our Kevlar gloves to keep our hands safe. When working in the chemistry lab, you may use dangerous chemicals, such as silver nitrate or nitric acid. When working with these chemicals, we use our mandatory PPE, along with neoprene gloves, to help keep our hands safe. If you spilt chemicals directly onto your hands, you could suffer from severe chemical burns.
One of the big hazards in injection molding is the hot purge that comes out of the barrel at 300 degrees Fahrenheit. It'll come down here and you'll have to scrape it off into the bin. You got to make sure you have your hot work gloves on. Usually I wear a pair inside. That'll all get put into the pan that's labeled as hot. You need to wait until it's completely cooled down. Whenever working with dry ice, you need to make sure you have your heat-resistant gloves on again. Dry ice touches bare skin, it'll cause severe frostbite, so you want to make sure every inch of your skin is covered whenever working with it.
This is the most dangerous equipment for hands and fingers. And that trigger pin over here, it could be crush your finger if it's getting away. And you have to be more careful when you do the mold changeover. and PM activities. Most effective to control this hazard, that fire the pin, before you work on the mold, you have to put that block in the pin area and you lock it and you work on your, and second one, you have to disengage the pin like this before you do anything on the mold area.
Anytime I do work on the machine, such as a PM or a repair, and I have to crank the wheel, I always do a walk around to ensure that there's no other employees with their hands that can get pinched. A common task that we work on in the blow mold department is replacing air lines or water lines in the Seidel. One of the tools that we use frequently is an X-Acto knife. The X-Acto knife shouldn't be used because you can easily cut your hand, resulting in stitches. As an alternative to the X-Acto knife, we use different tools such as this and such as this hose cutter. This will prevent your hands from being close to the knives as you cut it. When performing PMs, it's important to wear gloves to prevent any kind of slivers. When wiping the grease off of the oven exit guides, it's possible that you'll rub your finger along a sliver and not realize it until after you've cut yourself.
You've all seen this happen before, the notorious bottle jam. When you're addressing the bottle jam, once you've opened the door, you notice that it's there. You don't want to be using excessive force, yanking at the bottle, because you could get your knuckles wrapped, get your hand cut. When I'm going in to remove some equipment and jams, I always like to lock out. So I always do my lockout tag out so that I know that there isn't any energy. Verify it once more. I'm going inside the filler. So I have to sanitize as well. I find it much easier to take a piece of equipment off. These quick release valves are very handy for removing it. You can also do it by using your tools. You can see that with the pieces of guarding removed, I can get quick access to the problem area, verify that there aren't any other bottles left in the machine that might cause another jam, and now I can put the equipment back together. When you're filling the glue pots, it's important to remember to wear your heat-resistant gloves. As you can see, it operates at a temperature of about 352 degrees to melt the glue. And it's extremely hot inside there. So when you drop it, the glue pot in, the glue, just do it gently away from yourself. You also want to remember not to press onto any glue lumps to try and get it down lower, because they can melt quickly, and if you press your hand in, it could go into the pot. I really like using these safety knives for cutting the boxes of labels open. It's got a good point, good edge for getting into the tape, but it also has a measured depth so that you don't go too far into the box. I like them because at one point in an earlier career, I had an incident with a box knife that I was using to do pretty much the same type of activity. The knife caught on the edge of the box, went across my thumb, and I lacerated all the muscle, all the tendons, all the nerves, and cut right down to the bone. And then I also like the Teflon edge on this for cutting the plastic. It is extremely safe. In-feed gaps are a common problem at the labeler. It's important to remember that the machine is still running even though the bottles have stopped. The conveyor is moving and the in-feed worm is still turning. So you don't want to be reaching inside past any guarding. Your hand could get caught if the bottles suddenly move forward. It's important to be very safe as you reach, not trying to get close to the conveyor belt. If you must go inside, you want to stop the machine, open up the safety guard, and then re-verify zero energy that the machine is not going to operate. You can go in, dislodge any further jam that is inside the machinery near what we're moving parts, close everything back up, reset, re-enable the power, and reset the original fault.
Okay, we're about to do a roll change here. We're going to use our safety knife to cut it. These are a very good tool. We don't want to use X-Acto knives or anything like that because we can get hurt and they're exposed. So we just want to use our safety knives to cut our roll of film here for our roll change. We put the weld bar down here. It's very hot. We want to keep our hands away from it after we raise it up. When we're lowering rolls of film down here, we always want to use our tool. We use our hands. There's pinch points when we raise the roll up if we're going to raise it. And these are very heavy rolls. So we always want to lower it just like this with our tool. We always use our tool. We put our hands there. We're going to get our fingers pinched. Okay, I'm going to show you the knife blade now. It's very, very, very sharp. Do not put your hands near this knife blade whatsoever. It can cause stitches. This guard is to be only removed by maintenance if any work's needed to be done with this knife, if it has to be replaced or any film jammed in there. Make sure maintenance is the only one that removes that guard. Okay, we're going to go inside the packer now. We've got to make sure we're wearing our white gloves here because these transfer plates, they get sharp sometimes just with the wear and tear with the packs going over them. And when we're removing them and installing them, they hit the chains. So it's very important to have a PM process in that these get inspected every single time. And if there's any burrs on these transfer plates, that we get them filed down immediately. Always be wearing our white gloves because they're very sharp and we can get cut by them. Okay, I'm going to show you how we work with the infeed here. You see the bottles that are moving right now. We don't want to be putting our hands in there when the bottles are moving because we're going to be trying to quickly pick the bottles up or take them out. And by doing that, we can nick our hands. And of course, we're always wearing our white gloves. Want to just be very careful in this area and only remove the bottles when it actually stops.
When changing the wrap, you must fully turn the power off and de-energize the air. And when you do change the wrap, you have to watch out for your hands don't get caught in the pinch points. In the past, I learned my lesson. Just make sure you lock out and de-energize the machine.
Sometimes through the day, you're going to have to handle skids. So it's always important to make sure you handle them properly and to look for good ones and bad ones. You don't want a sliver like this going through your hand, so make sure you always wear your gloves. When cleaning out your line of all pieces of wood, it's a good thing to make sure you lock out so your hand doesn't become entangled in the chain.
As a mechanic here at Nestle, as far as hand safety, #1 priority is keep gloves on when you're working on machines. They stop small abrasives, or if you cut yourself on the corner of something. It's best to keep gloves on, except if you're using a power tool or a drill. Some of the things we use, don't use adjustable wrenches. They're called knuckle busters for a reason. They're quick and easy, but they end up giving you more grief in the long run, so it's not really worth using. So use a proper wrench at all times. Make sure it's good and solid when you put it onto a nut. That way you don't have to worry about it slipping off and cutting your knuckles open. Double wrenching is not a good practice. Same thing, they'll slip off once you put some force on there. Once they slip, you can end up busting your knuckles again or driving it into a piece of machinery you don't want to. Screwdrivers are meant to screw in screws. They're not meant as a chisel and a hammer. Once the end becomes rounded, there's a good chance of it missing. It'll cut your fingers open. You could end up stabbing somebody or stabbing yourself. And also they could shatter at the back end, which you don't want near your eyes. This is a proper chisel. It's good to use it. It's what they're designed for. Sometimes if you're working on machinery and it's a real awkward angle to get a good wrench in like this, it's good to pick up angled wrenches where you can get in from an angle and get better. Again, you don't have to worry about it slipping or busting your knuckles open. So as mechanics out on the line, we do a lot of firefighting on a daily basis. So when you go up to a machine, assess the risks first, make sure it's locked out, make sure you use the right tool for the job, assess any situation around that might give you a laceration or a small cut to your hands. Hands are our livelihoods. Without the digits or without our fingers, we won't be able to do our jobs effectively.
These signs will help you identify the hazards, control them, and eliminate any safety issues.
Machines don't have a mind. They just run, cut, rotate, wrap, and bend. Doesn't matter what's in the way. It can happen in a split second.
I'm hoping to be able to talk to you today about an accident I had here at work. I heard a rattling noise, noticed that one of the chains for the roller conveyor was loose, banging around. So what I did is I stopped to have a look at it. Mistakenly, what I did was I took the cover off to inspect it while it was still running. When I did that, I tried tightening the chain, and in doing so, my hand slipped and got caught in the chain. The chain caught me right across here, and as you can see, it took this one off. These two got sewn back on, thankfully. But a very, very scary day for me. As soon as it happened, I got on the radio, called for first aid. First aid arrived. We sort of picked up the pieces.
As a first aider and a companion, I remember this like it was yesterday. The pain that he was going through and the anguish and the embarrassment. I'm just wondering if there was something that I could have done to prevent this.
Part of the impact to my life with this injury was months of physio, months of actual physical bandages, nurses coming in, taking care of it. The thoughts of, as a mechanic, my hands are my tools. Now, what have I just done to my career? Am I going to have full use of it again? Am I going to have limited use? Am I going to have to look at some different job to do? As of today, my hand is back together. It's healed up. I got lots of movement to it. So the physical part of it is better. The side of the accident that people don't seem to realize is the mental side of it. I mean, I scared my family. I scared them bad. And that's something I will never be able to change. My self-confidence, my self-esteem, it took a huge hit, you know. My fear of going back to my job. Am I going to do another accident? I second-guess myself. There's these things that people don't seem to realize that are far greater impact than just, you know, what physically happened to my hand. Take the time to stop, think, and really look at what you're doing. It's something certainly I wish I had done. My life would be a lot different today if I did. Also, too, if you see somebody else doing something that, you know, they're maybe missing something, please stop and help them out. Do them a favor and just let them know that, you know what they're doing is either not safe or there's a better way of doing it.
I've seen a lot of hand injuries, serious hand injuries here at Nestle in my time. Everything from crushed thumbs to amputated fingers, and it can happen so fast. I always ask myself at the end of the day, did I buy the right tools? Did I spend enough time training? Did I provide enough safeguards?
Look at your hands right now. Open them, close them, move them, and imagine what life would be like if you were missing a finger or severely damaged your hand. Safety is your responsibility, but what exactly does that mean to you?
As a production resource, we have high expectations for myself and the employees regarding following procedures that we have outlined in this facility. Some of these are, you know, making sure that we're wearing gloves when doing changeovers or handling raw materials. Also, that's going to help prevent, you know, cuts, scrapes, and bruises. You know, and these things are very important that we follow them, and, you know, just to prevent these things from happening.
I follow proper safety standards to ensure I perform my job the safe way.
When given a task, it's important that we ask for clarification when practices and procedures are unclear or not fully understood. Talk to one another when risks are present to avoid injuries.
Speak up. Promptly report any injuries, near misses, or unsafe conditions using escalation cards or care cards.
In my position, my surroundings are changing constantly. Because of this, I need to be aware of my surroundings at all times. I don't want to find myself in a position where I'm becoming too familiar with my surroundings and taking things for granted that they're always going to be in the same place at any given time.
It's really important for me and my employees to make sure that we plan our jobs to make sure that we have the correct stuff, and we don't assume that everything is good, that we actually plan it so that we know that we're going to become safe and go home safe.
Getting involved means out on the floor, stopping somebody from getting hurt, participating in behavioral observations, talking to people. Involvement means getting involved with problem solving, the Joint Health and Safety Committee, and in projects where I can support others with their safety goals. 0-1-100 is the NC journey, so it talks about the zero loss journey. I believe in an environment of no injuries. It's so much easier to work together as a team, and when people are engaged, working together, it's amazing what we can accomplish.
By doing the things we're doing today and focusing on rushing behaviors and also wearing the proper PPE, we will get there. Safety is not about guarding. Safety is not about putting netting up around to protect the employees. Safety is also about behaviors, and we need to continue to focus on the mindware. We need to continue to understand why people rush while they're working. Please continue to work hard, and our journey to zero will come eventually.
We couldn't possibly identify each and every one of the potential dangers to your hands that exist on the job. The message is simple. Risks and hazards are always present in the workplace, and safety is everyone's responsibility. The best practice when it comes to preventing hand injuries is the safety-related choices and decisions you make every day on the job. You can enjoy a safe working environment by understanding local safety standards and following them. Speaking up when you see an unsafe situation or unsafe behavior. Be mindful that there are always risks around you, and help to develop preventative measures that will ultimately save lives in your workplace.